Okay then, we are going to go straight back into this, even though it's been a little while since I've done the last video. Hi, and welcome. My name is Yuusha and welcome back to A Light in the Dark. Now, I know I only did one video on this back a little while ago, and it did take a long time to upload for me to even get the first part up, but now I'm remaining a little bit hopeful, hoping that it won't take such a break in between parts and won't be so difficult to upload. So, we're going to jump straight back into this game, and hopefully we won't die. So guys, Ikimushoka. We probably will die. Day 2 morning. So cold. Okay, we've got another note. Hello. I couldn't rest with this cold weather. If only there was something warm. Okay. I didn't feel better after I slept. Instead I felt even more tired. I was hoping to find a chance to escape when she fell asleep. However, time passed and she didn't show any sign of closing her eyes. What type of coffee is she having? I couldn't help but fall asleep first. The last thing I saw was her lighting another cigarette. My body must have really been exhausted if I could fall asleep like that. Well, you've been abducted, you've been for one day where you've actually been beaten in a chair, unable to move. So I'd imagine you feel really tired. I opened my eyes in the daze and saw an unfamiliar face right before me. This is the girl from the title screen. Hello? Who are you? Oh, it's the little girl that did that. I jumped back reflexively and tried to shield my chest with my hands. Yeah, my tied up hands reminded me of my kidnapped status. Regardless, I was shocked by this new face. I stared at the new girl before me. The first thing I noticed were her beautiful eyes. Clean light brown, like pieces of amber. Her thick coat and dark red sweater looked pretty old. Her small body suggested she might have been in junior high, so she was clearly unfit for a place like this. Right. So I mean, Hey now. Hey. Put the knife down. Yes. Jesus. How many knives am I going to have pointed at me today? I didn't know who she was, but I easily noticed a knife in her hand. She stared straight at me, but showed no signs of speaking. It somehow emitted an inexplicable pressure. Who are you? I tried to ask her, but she refused to answer and shook her head. She was on guard at my every movement with pressed lips. There was no sign of the kidnapper around. There were only the two of us in the room, so why is she here? In other words, a good chance to escape. Ask for help. Because if I struggle, then she's more likely gonna hit me. I hope that's the right choice anyway. Can you untie the rope for me? Oh, her head shaking. Seeing she had no intention to help, I tried to untie it myself. Her expression vividly changed upon noticing my attempt. Oh! Don't move. That's expected. Only another victim or the accomplice would be here. If she wasn't tied up and instead held a knife, then she must be my guard. Why is she in on this? She's only like 15, isn't she? The quiet girl and the antisocial one. What a bizarre combo. The sort of plot in a movie would have easily triggered the haters. It appeared reality could be more ridiculous than fiction. I breathed out and couldn't help but laugh out of stress. Okay. We got a note for that as well. I'm guessing that's about the... Yeah, it's about the girl. The young girl looked emaciated. She was most likely no older than the average junior high school student. With her head hung down, she looked a little scared and didn't want to talk. I had no idea why they would pick her as a partner. I could defeat someone of her size even if she held a knife. Assuming she was alone. Is there anyone else here? Probably. There would be no progress if I didn't strike up a conversation. I decided to speak proactively after giving it some thought. She stared at me tightly with no response, making one wonder if she understood. You were asked to guard me, right? Still no response. Can you untie the rope for me? I can't feel them now, and if it stays like this... She shook her head, finally speaking after being silent for a while.
Bix has told me not to listen to you.
Yeah, it's a sister. That make the most logical sense anyway. Her voice was light and quiet like smoke in the air. I finally heard her speak, yet it was frustrating to hear something so pointless. I finally speak to her and... Okay. Who is this big sis? Because the other one just seems like I'll just do worse, so I'm not going to do that. Who's this big sis? Is she the one with the long hair that kidnapped me? Where is she? I need to talk to her. Oh, she's thinking. After continuously asking her questions, I got not a single answer. Perhaps I was asking them too eagerly. That made her cautious. She looked at me suspiciously, but refused to say anything. I told myself to hang in there. I had to stay calm in these situations. Wait, how many times have you been in this situation, dude? I'm sure this is your first time. I took a deep breath to suppress my unease. I tried to smile to lighten up the mood. Do you have anything to eat? Don't tell me your sister doesn't allow that either. I had no strength with an empty stomach. I hadn't eaten anything since yesterday, and my stamina went out faster in this cold weather. I had to save my energy for my chance. This was a war of attrition. Either she'd let me go, or I'd give up first. Answering with actions, she put a bowl on the ground, grabbed the water bottle with difficulty, and carefully poured some into it. Is she ill? Here. She handed me the bowl, and brought me a pack of crackers. Worried I might escape, she moved her gaze away from me. The hand grasping the knife never loosened up. Observing her actions quietly, I had to read her thoughts, but I couldn't discern anything except stress. I drank the water with much effort, spilling quite a bit on my clothes due to my tied up hands. My clothes were wet again after finally getting dried. Oh yeah, we got them wet last time, I remember. The hard crackers tasted like pure flour alone. Hard to swallow even with water. That is actually nasty to eat. Crackers are the driest food around. They are the driest food to exist. I knew it was not the time to be picky. I had to cherish any opportunity to replenish my strength. True. Trust. Noticing her conflicting gaze, I asked, "What's wrong?"
Big Sis is not a bad person. She will let you go when she gets the money. So please don't move.
I will cooperate. I will cooperate. At least for now, yeah. I didn't finish the full sentence, but she already looked happy and clearly dropped her guard a little. So that actually made... Okay, so she might be my key out of here. She didn't seem to have the same level of animosity as the other girl. Maybe I could convince her. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. She believed her sister would let me go once she got the money. If only things would go so smoothly. That could be the problem as well. Alright, so what's my situation? So I need to find out the time at one point, find something sharp, the door and the windows. Like, check out that. I should try to converse with the woman. I still have plenty of stamina, which is nice. Organize the information I can gather. I start to plan my next steps. Would the teacher notice something was wrong if I hadn't gone to cram school for 2 days? Unlikely, considering how often I skipped it. Well, aren't I the role model? Unless it lasted long enough, but even the worst case scenario, they would only contact the parents instead of the police. I started to regret not having more friends who would notice me going missing. Expecting her to let me go upon getting a ransom, would it really be that easy? Remembering that vague smile, I don't feel very assured. The girl was squatting next to the wall and stared at me while hugging her legs. There was no curiosity in her eyes, as though nothing interested her here. She was just guarding this place at someone else's behest. Big sis, huh? Considering their relationship, it was unlikely she planned a kidnapping. She was most likely just an accomplice following orders. Unlike some stereotypical bad girls who smoked or dyed their hair, she looked like a well-behaved but shy kid at least. If I hadn't met her in this situation... So, who was planning all this? Somehow I felt things weren't as simple as they seemed. There were too many points of suspicion if they were the ones planning this. Even carrying me here should have been problematic for them. Also, the person she was contacting concerned me as well. Hey. Oh god, I made her jump, hello. I called out to her, catch her attention, and tried to start a conversation. She was younger than the kidnapper yesterday, and with much less animosity. Might have been a chance to convince her. How did you get my information? Ooh. You're a student, right? Do you know what you're doing? She stared at me with no change of expression. I wasn't sure if she heard me. No, she definitely did. She might have been even more troublesome than the other one. I could at least guess my kidnapper's thoughts if there was some sort of conversation. I was only wasting my time here at this rate. I don't know what she told you, but this is kidnapping. I tried to sound more threatening. Oh, but this is kidnapping. I tried to sound more threatening to make her talk. There would be punishment even if you are underage, and that would involve your family too. Do you know that? They're just using you. They might blame us all on you later.
Big sis would not do that.
She abruptly interrupted me. Okay. How can you be so sure? Just because she was kind to you, do you think she would still be on your side by then? Finally making her talk, I tried to push forward. Has she told you her plan after getting the money? Do you really know her? Jesus, Big Sis would not do such a thing. You are the one who doesn't know her. Jesus Christ, hello. That was a bad move. She interrupted me loudly and stood up all of a sudden with her little body shaking. I didn't expect such a big reaction. Perhaps her relationship with her Big Sis was closer than I thought. Of course I don't know your Big Sis. I stopped for a few seconds and stared at her coldly. All I know is that she is a kidnapper. That's all that matters.
Lie! You don't know why Big Sis...
What is it then? She raised the knife and yelled at me with her chest heaving up and down, but swallowed the word before the key part. Why then?
Big Sis just...
Facing my questioning, she lowered her gaze. Worrying she might get too agitated and really harm me, I decided to change the subject despite my desire to continue. Anyway, I don't get it, but you better give it some thought. Coldly ended the conversation, leaving her staring at me hesitantly. Ooh. No matter how much faith one had in others, no one would stay still after hearing those words. I wasn't sure how effective that was. I could only wait and see.
It's not like that.
Not able to retort, she squatted next to the wall in depression, mumbling with her head in her arms. Seeing her almost about to cry made me feel a little uncomfortable, but I would do anything as long as I could get out of here. Besides, they were the ones at fault here. There should be no sense of guilt involved even if I hurt them a little. What? Well, they did kidnap me. So, I do see that logic. Let's try to strike up a conversation with her. Remain in actions free. I don't need to rest. I've got plenty of stamina, so I'm going to observe for once. Because this is a bit of the room I didn't see last time. We already know that's a Rabby Ribby poster, so I don't even have to look at that time, because we're actually looking at that. Closer look reveals that the clock is not even moving. The hand points at 5:46, so all my time estimates are pointless now. Who knows how much time has passed? Even though I don't know the time, at least I am not misguided by the wrong information. Okay, so that's now been updated. We solved that one. Books, oddly enough, and a calendar. The date stopped at August 30th, 1999. If it is the day the original owner left the place, then it must be 15 years old. No wonder it looks this miserable, or rather it's kind of a miracle for this place to even still be standing after so many years without any sort of maintenance. Okay, so let's go back and actually now try and speak with her. Young girl. Alright, we're cold at the second, so we don't necessarily need to know who this girl is, because she's not really the main kidnapper. We don't need to say why. I don't think we'll get anywhere saying why me. How long have you known Big Sis is another one, but we also need to survive. And I think any of these can go cause and effect all hand in hand. Like, anything can happen. So I'm gonna say so cold. So cold. She made a sound to indicate she heard me. I waited a while before continuing to talk. I thought it was a little warm. My movements were strained. I had no way to get information if they didn't talk to me. To get information from her, I needed to find a way to make her talk. After all, telling her directly I want to talk most likely wouldn't work. I want some coffee. If possible, I would like to have some coffee.
Oh,
Don't you also want something hot to drink?
coffee is too bitter.
She said indifferently, just when I was about to give up. She answered softly.
But cocoa's fine.
Okay, we've got something hot at least. Okay, we made progress. Okay, it worked. Okay, so we don't need to worry about the time anymore. We got that. We need to look for something sharp still. So, the girl. She liked hot cocoa. Okay. But did we do the... Okay, we didn't do the warm bit. Just. In prison, life was surprisingly boring. I couldn't do anything with tied hands. And the only person I could talk to was as silent as a rock in one corner of the room. There was no phone, no TV, no internet. The usually insufficient 24 hours now felt way too long. Yet, she didn't look one bit bored. Flipping through a book from God knows where, she observed my movements from time to time. I ate the same crackers for breakfast and lunch, so I went to the bathroom once, hoping to find a chance to escape. She stood outside with a knife when I was in there, either rushing me or leaving. Having found nothing useful there, I left post-haste. Don't you eat anything more normal? Or do you just love crackers? She ate the same thing as me. They were cheap and tasteless, no matter how long you chewed, and they only served to make your mouth dry. Unless you won a year's worth of them from a lottery, there was really no reason to keep eating them. I started the conversation out of boredom. She raised her head thoughtfully.
This is very cheap and lasts long.
Aren't you worried about malnutrition? There was nothing but starch left, let alone fibre or vitamins. Pretty ironic for something called a nutrition biscuit.
Oh,
Showing no concern about balancing her diet, she didn't even raise her head, but just replied nonchalantly. Hanging out with her this whole time? This whole morning? She didn't give any sort of proper response except when it was about her big sis. Pretty incredible, I would say. Strangely enough, it wasn't like she cared about this big sis that much. It was more like she just didn't care about anything else. Yeah, I think it's her. I think she's the reason this heist is going on in the first place, is because of her. Did you figure something out with my dad?
no idea.
Her answer without hesitation didn't appear to be a lie. However, it did trigger my curiosity if she didn't even care about my status of the ransom. No matter who you are, you must care about something, whether it be family, work, or some dream. Yet she had none of that. There wasn't even some sort of animosity against me, only caution at most. Try to talk. Why do you like your big sis? Okay, so we're now talking to the big sis, because I thought the game would have said it already. So, okay. Hesitating a little, I decided to follow how she addressed the person in question. Also, I think it's a good thing that I mentioned about so cold to the girl, because if she tells the big sis, then she might provide me with something warm. So, if she is really intending to let me go, then she'll make sure I stay alive, for the most part, and let me go. So, I'd imagine that it should work. Hesitating a little, I decided to follow how she addressed the person in question.
Cause Big Sis took good care of me.
That's it? She said no more despite the pause, then I realised she had finished. She frowned as she stared at me. You were willing to do all this just because she took good care of you?
That's quite the burden.
You must be easy to please. What the hell? If you treated her nicely, she might even kill someone for you. Kidnapping is by no means a light crime in any country. You could easily end up with more than 10 years of jail time. I finally understood why gangs like to recruit students. Around that age, anyone nice to you must be a friend. And one would do anything for a friend. Yeah, These two have got to be related, surely, though. Unable to retort, a bit of confusion flew through her eyes.
Because Big Sis is nice, so I want to help her. Is that strange?
She said quietly. Depends on what you're helping her with. It was a simple question, but with an implication. Maybe no one took care of her, except this Big Sis. Maybe. Many things take for granted aren't the cases for us at all. Remembering our words from yesterday, I realized that they might have some real difficulties. Now I just feel sympathy. Maybe they had their reasons to do this. Well, anybody would of course have a reason, logically. That's all I can think. As she said, the world is not fair. If only I could convince them to let me go. Yeah. I wouldn't go for the other one and go with unmoving, because that probably make me look worse. So it's probably best that I didn't do that one. Within the silence, the sudden phone vibration sounded extra sharp. Unlike yesterday, the girl picked up the phone immediately.
Hello?
Perhaps she was asked about me, as the girl glanced at me when answering the call.
Yes, it's alright.
I had no idea what the conversation entailed, and could only guess from her words.
Okay. Okay.
It was the kidnapper from yesterday. Yeah, that's what I guessed. Where could she be if she needed a call to confirm my situation? Maybe she's looking for something else. Maybe? I'm not sure. Did she already contact someone to get the ransom? Or maybe they had other bases. That could be a possibility. But she was unexpectedly loyal to her big sis. Okay. Okay, so I've already tried to convince her, so that's out of the question.
He's next to me. Alright.
The girl handed me the phone, raised my tied hands, and then shrugged helplessly. She hesitated a little, then put the phone next to my ear. At this distance, maybe I could bump into her by surprise. I'd probably still overwhelm her, even with my tied-up limbs. No. Before making up my mind, I heard a voice from the phone. Hello? The cold voice sounded a little different, though, through the phone. The noisy background seemed to indicate she was somewhere outside. Maybe a restaurant or a karaoke place. Maybe they actually have an outside life? Maybe this is actually their home. Hey, can you hear me? Yep. I see you're still kicking. Sorry to disappoint. She didn't seem pleased with my greeting. Maybe she was expecting me to go into a panic and shiver in the corner. The more she wanted to see me in fear, the more I wanted to act indifferently. It wasn't really part of any sort of strategy, just some pointless show of resistance.
You should know this by now, but I'll repeat it again. Don't try to run. Don't ask questions. I am watching you if anything happens.
She paused, then left a threat.
Even if I agree to return you, I wouldn't be breaking the deal if you lose an arm or a leg.
Got it. I didn't even need to guess what she wanted to say. Lose an arm or leg, throw me off a cliff, blah blah blah. Hell, even agreeing to return me alive was already saintly of a... Well, yeah. Most wouldn't even intend to keep the hostage alive. Hostages usually got silent after the kidnappers got the money and were ready to run. I didn't plan to believe her words from the beginning. If I played too nice, I might get killed without knowing how. Is my dad paying?
None of your business, just worry about yourself.
But... Bullshit. Why would I ask about that if not out of concern for my own safety? I wanted to ask more, but got stopped mercilessly.
I'm heading back now, so stay put. That's all.
Hey, wait! Before I could say anything, she hung up. Hanging up right after she said whatever she wanted. What a woman. Hearing the empty sound of a disconnected call, I knew being mad would make no difference.
What did Big Sis say?
She approached me once the call ended and asked me worriedly. Within a short period of time, I wonder what to say. I'm going to answer honestly, because she'll probably tell Big Sis. So if they are so close and I do that, then I might get injured badly. She told me to stay put and she'd be home soon.
Oh.
Not showing any emotion, she simply took away the phone and sat back in the corner. I remembered how the big sis sat next to the window smoking seemingly in thought, and also in patience. In contrast, this girl was way too quiet. She just sat there, holding her legs together. Yeah. So, if I tried to manipulate there, she would probably realise if I was lying, because she already knows how her big sis operates. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been there in the first place. So, probably best that I don't do it now. Because if I gain her trust, like keep it going and keep going to a good point, then maybe I can convince her. If I do it straight away, then I'm going to lose all trust. How much did she really know about the kidnapping? She didn't even know me, nor what to do. Her big sis asked her to guard me, so she guarded her big sis. Her big sis asked her not to talk to me, so she didn't talk to me. Whether it was about the outcome or the reward, she was just clueless and didn't care. She just had faith in her big sis. Such blind trust was not far from stupidity. I almost felt bad for her. Time felt much longer when you were waiting. I even sighed in relief when I heard a sound approach. A motorcycle engine was shut down not too far away, and the closing footsteps echoed through the staircase. The noise was empty, but had a certain rhythm. There was no elevator. Was this an apartment? Or some privately owned house? I'm guessing it's a privately owned house and not an apartment, because it must be an abandoned house at least. I mean, somebody lived here, and I doubt it's going to be just so small for just a flat. It probably might be, but I'm just having a feeling it's not. I could only hear one person's steps. There was no one coming back with her. I'm back. The one who walked in was the same girl from the day before, aka the big sis. Same overcoat as yesterday, and her expression hadn't changed either. Welcome home. Well then, unsure of what was going on in my mind, she looked at me suspiciously and handed a plastic bag in her hand to the other girl.
Bento, eat it while it's still hot. Big sis.
The little girl whispered something into her ear. I couldn't tell the context from this distance. The girl nodded, staring dead straight at me. Once the girl finished, she moved towards me with the knife. Okay. She tried to check the rope, even pulling it a few times to make sure it's tight enough. I told you I didn't do anything. If I could get out of this, do you really think I'd stay here?
Quiet.
Ask her then. She threw the other girl a questioning glance, which was answered by a silent nod. I wish her head wasn't even turned. It seemed like the bento was much more attracted than the situation here. She snorted unhappily, but couldn't find a reason to act up. She then just started to laugh scornfully.
Whatever, I doubt you'll have the balls to try anything. You have a rich mommy and daddy arranging everything for you, from school to work. You probably even have a maid cleaning the house. You can't do shit on your own, can you?
Here we go again. This ridiculous resentment was just not aimed at me, but anyone for a better life than her. What was the point of hating all these people? Would it change anything about her life? Wouldn't it be more practical if she tried to change something instead of hating? Where did it go? She probably would only be more pissed off if this continued, so I decided to change the subject to avoid trouble.
Oh, wouldn't you like to know,
Not cutting me any slack, she raised her eyebrow provocatively. Well, so much for that. I sighed helplessly. This was really going nowhere as she kept up with this attitude.
You start eating, don't mind me.
Okay, so she bought food for the both of them. Only after she spoke did I notice the little girl hadn't moved her chopsticks despite having the bento open, as though waiting for her big sis to start a meal together. They do look like they are related. Just look at them. I mean, she literally looks like she could be the younger sister, and the hairpins got me interested as well. Just something about the hairpins got me like, what's the story behind it?
I had dinner already. Don't need to leave me anything.
Oh, no, she's lying. I can tell she's lying, but she's so kind towards her. She lifted her furrowed brow and patted the little girl's head kindly. There was even a little smile on her face. The little girl nodded obediently. Even an outsider like me can tell how close they were. If anything, I couldn't even believe she still had such an expression in her. Well, she hadn't smiled once, so that was actually kind of fresh. More questions popped into my mind upon seeing her interaction. With such familiarity, what was their relationship? That's a good point. What was their relationship? She seemed close to the little girl. What was their relationship? Okay, the basic as you could get. Dots. The sound of water flowing in the bathroom reminded me that I hadn't taken a shower for 2 days. Still felt uncomfortable even though I'd barely moved or sweat. I was willing to give up half of my possessions for a hot shower and pay with my future income for a cup of cocoa as a bonus. Well, it's when you're in these situations now, like you subconsciously start appreciating the small things. Because when you lose a lot of things, you start to appreciate the small things that you get. Because, of course, some people may be able to get better things, of course, than the average person might. But even so, just having those little bits that you can just hold on to are still something you can grasp at least. Like to enjoy them. It's a nice feeling. The little girl was clearly starved and was quietly and happily eating the rice. She paid no attention to me. Her figure looked extra weak and small from here. I still couldn't believe she could be a kidnapper. What kind of family would allow her to do such a thing? I think they're orphans. Whatever. Considering my own family, I had no right to criticize others. The girl left the bathroom holding her hair. She only washed her face since there was no hot water. The light shone in her face, rendering her pale complexion a little more rosy. Yet the expression on her face was still cold as ice. What are you looking at? She seemingly noticed my gaze and asked me if an eyebrow raised. Nothing, just that I hadn't taken a shower for a while. You think this is some fancy hotel, rich boy? I would have called customer service given such quality. Keep flapping your mouth, I dare you. Never mind. She snorted with contempt, then walked to the window to lightly shake the little girl's shoulder. The little girl had finished her bento and was falling asleep against the wall, despite her best efforts to stay awake. Aww. Go to the bed to sleep. You'll catch a cold like this. Hmm? She nodded sleepily, and climbed into the bed obediently. Not minding all the dust on it, she grabbed the bed sheet and laid down. Maybe she was really tired. It didn't take long for her to fall asleep completely. We could hear the sound of steady breathing in the room. The girl walked to the window, opened her bento and started to eat it quickly. Nothing for me? Being cocky whilst being freaking tied up. Yeah, of course that's gonna work. Tormented by the scent of the food, I couldn't help but ask. You could just eat the crackers. How about just a cup of coffee? I have money in my bag. Rather than a hot dinner, I preferred some hot coffee to relax my nerves. You done yet? I learned that protesting wouldn't help, and now the headache was even more unbearable without coffee. So we're a coffee addict as well. Jesus Christ. I can't drink coffee. I really can't. I'm a tea man. I've got to drink my freaking cup of PG Tips. She looked troubled and was just eating absent-mindedly. She kept poking the drumstick for what seemed to be no reason. Please stop playing with the food even if you're not in the mood. I can have it if you have no appetite. Hunger plus anger may make me give the suggestion.
I'm thinking about how to keep your mouth shut.
Oh, so am I gonna have to suck on a bone or something like that for the whole time? I doubt me doing what that would solve your problem. Though noticing her darker look, I decided to keep my mouth shut. Piecing all the hints together, along with her reaction, I could only come up with one conclusion. Duds. You could have reached my dad.
How did... You trying to trick me?
Realising she slipped without thinking, her face instantly darkened again. Okay. No, that was actually by accident. I didn't mean anything. I just thought... Fearing she might lose her temper, I immediately tried to pass off the responsibility. However, she stood up suddenly.
You look down on me? Find me easy to fool, huh?
She bit her lips, staring at me with utter hatred, her voice colder than ever. Not at all, I'm just guessing randomly. There must be something wrong, and I doubt the police have found her at this soon. Look, We're gonna get stabbed. Her reaction far surpassed my expectations. I tried to explain myself, but that didn't stop her walking towards me. She walked closer and closer with a knife, eyes flashing with hysteria. Is she really going to do this? I was really fearing for my life for the first time ever. She looked like a cornered animal. Oh god, hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. Just did the doorbell for something else. Don't struggle. Before she got the money, she wouldn't kill me. Yeah. I'm not gonna struggle. If resistance was futile, I decided to close my eyes and grit my teeth, hoping she wouldn't continue further. Huh? Dots. I smelled a faint scent and felt hair on my cheek, plus rapid breathing. What's that smell? Unbelievably, at this moment of life and death, I was thinking about something this insignificant. I guess my skin was a cold sensation. The blade was right before my chest. A simple push would bury it deep into my flesh. I opened my eyes and saw a look of pure ice right before me. Don't lie to me. The voice next to my ear was light but clear. I will say it one more time. Don't lie to me. If you look down on me, you will regret it. Her voice was calm and a nice steady. She didn't clarify how she would do it, nor did she ask for my confirmation, yet this threat was more powerful than anything prior. All my words got stuck in my throat. My body was paralyzed to the point I couldn't even blink. She meant it. I could read the emotion in her eyes. That was pure murderous intent. No question about it. She would do it if I did it again. I'm done with folks like you. Don't think I can't. Worst case scenario, I would just die with you. No biggie for someone like me. Jesus, she's willing to even kill herself. Wow! So, they're really trying for something tough right now. She finished her sentence, moved the knife away, and walked back to the window. I just lay there on the ground motionlessly. My tense body was still trembling. At that moment I confirmed something. They could end me any time. The notion of her not touching me before getting the money, or having some backup plan, meant nothing to them. At this point, she had nothing to lose. Took a deep breath as I faced the window. That's how I calm myself down since childhood. What I need to do is stayed the same. Do we have an extra segment, or is that it for the night? Yeah, it's night time now, so it's the final segment for this day, then I'm going to end it off. I am really wondering what these two stories are. Because they're obviously related. They have such a close relationship. And she is so desperate to do something to rob someone that she's willing to kill herself and me. But not the young girl. So she must be doing it all for the young girl. The desk lamp drew a long shadow from her. What had just occurred still creeped me out a little. However, since she hadn't contacted my family, there was still a chance. I breathed in deeply, gathered the courage and talked to her. I have a proposal. Okay. She continued to look out the window motionlessly, showing no interest in my question. Let me go now and all my money is yours. It might not be much, but still 70,000 to 80,000 NTD in total, and I swear I will tell no one. Knowing she must be listening, I kept going on my own even without response. You can escort me to the ATM if you want to, or do it in any manner you prefer. You want to keep this on the down low, right? Why so insistent? I used my last bit of strength to convince her. Considering her position, I tried to propose something that would be mutually beneficial. I believed no one would risk his or her own life until there was no other choice. Now it's still not too late. Think about it. And she didn't say anything. Dots, more dots. The wait was so long I thought there was no response, but she finally turned her head. There was no rage in her eyes, only exhaustion. Why should I believe you? Why should I believe that you will hand me the money and never call the cops? I couldn't answer out of hesitation. It was hard to create a situation where both sides could trust each other in the first place. I wouldn't agree to such terms if the roles were reversed. Yeah. I would be the one in control once I got my freedom. She wouldn't be able to do anything to stop me from calling the cops.
No answer. Then shut the fuck up and stop watching my time.
Rather than handing her fate to me, she would rather believe in herself. All my gathered confidence grew fainter and fainter, and I was out of ideas temporarily. But if this kept going, then what can I do to win your trust? That is a good question. I asked with my last ounce of courage. Matching her stare, I could see the fragility under her cold look. She grew silent and started to ponder my question. Then a bitter smile appeared in her face.
I don't know.
Oh, okay then. She turned to the window and quietly said it again.
I don't know.
Wow, okay. The mood is heavy. I must try to do something. Okay. I'm gonna observe... I can't observe the curtains, of course. See if I can observe something else. There's a power cable down there. I'm gonna have a look over here, and I'm gonna look at... I can't look at the books. Oh! Look at the phone. I'm not sure what brand it is, but the smell is not as bad as I have thought after hailing it for a while. They're in a blue package. What brand are they? I should try to ask about it. It might be the clue to identifying who she is. What is the brand of the cigarette you smoke?
Why, you want to try it out?
I'm fine.
Then why ask?
Just found it smells special. She figured telling me wouldn't matter much, so she answered easily.
Light 7. My dad only smokes these.
Your dad?
He hit the road a long time ago. A shitty man who doesn't take care of his family. I want to kill him if I ever meet him.
Well then. So this must be her dad's place. This must be. Seeing how angry she got, I found something strange. Wasn't it just a contradictory to hate someone yet smoke the same brand of cigarette? Yeah, maybe she was forced to smoke them and she couldn't get rid of it. Okay, hold on 1 minute. Alright, I received something then. She still smoked the same brand of cigarettes as her father despite her dislike of him. Surely she was also conflicted. Maybe he married a rich woman? Maybe? Let's chat. Oh, this one's a good one. How much does she know about the kidnapping? Yes. How much does she know about the kidnapping? I asked her about the little girl, hoping to learn a little more information.
Huh? None of your business.
She changed the subject non-committally. But then after a while followed up with,
She has nothing to do with this. I forced her to help.
oh. I was surprised by that answer. I thought she had pushed the responsibility on her. Yeah, now it sounded like she was protecting her. Exactly. What an interesting relationship. She seems to really trust you. Yeah, big time. She stared at me, biting her lips, but in her internal turmoil was clear.
She knows nothing.
The little girl curled up in the bed, holding the bed sheet tightly. She didn't seem to be at peace even at night. The girl sighed lightly and then turned to me to emphasize her point again.
I forced her here and it was all my idea, my decision.
She repeated herself as though scared of involving the little girl.
Yet she wants little involvement with the girl as possible. She's willing to sacrifice her own life, but not the girl's.
So I think I might have been right. Like, if she had to sacrifice herself, she would take me down with her, but leave the girl alive. That's what she would do. She'd make sure the girl could be safe. Why, though?
It's got to be illness or something.
I got it. I replied perfunctorily, knowing that wasn't the truth. There was no way for her to be this obedient if she was forced, let alone defending her big sis. Mood is heavy. I must try to do something. So, let me see if there's something else I could observe. There's loads of cigarettes here. There's the chair there. The phone. Only soldiers or some tech manufacturers still use this kind of antique cell phone. Even old people use smartphones these days. Old phones can't connect to the internet or leave a traceable GPS signal. You can only track location through a phone call. Yep. Is that why she uses it? You have quite an antique phone.
It's usable, and I don't need all those fancy features of other phones anyway.
Yeah, it's reasonable enough. Well, the manufacturers need to make money with new products, and the technology is advancing, so...
And how many of those do you really need?
Jesus. One? One phone? She coldly interrupted me.
Some don't even have a phone, while others waste their lives to build all these fancy gimmicks. Just like some people are starving while others are picky with their food and call themselves food critics. I already find people like you disgusting.
So be it. Feeling the deep-rooted hatred in her look, I nonchalantly shrugged. Those things existed before, exist now, and will continue to exist in the future. We don't choose which part of the world we were born in. We can only struggle in this world with the pre-established rules. Yeah, that's all we can do. It was getting late, and I still couldn't find a way to change the situation. Instead of escaping or waiting for the ransom, the safest option was to convince her to let me go. Things could still get resolved without much incident. It wouldn't be this easy once the police got involved. But how? Even though I could tell she had hesitated, I couldn't win her trust. So I had to win her trust first? Oh, a sudden vibration broke the silence. She looked at the phone screen and then jolted a little as though being electrocuted. She lowered her eyes and read the message. She raised the corner of her mouth, but didn't appear to be that happy. What is it? I had a bad feeling and instantly asked.
There'll be a call in 10 minutes. Tell your dad to pay up if you want to go home.
Okay. The unexpected change of events instantly froze my blood. This was way too soon. I was naive to think I still had time to convince her. The moment she reached my family, there was no turning back. The police would start taking action, the family preparing the ransom, and the culprit preparing to the escape. What now? What now? I quickly went through all the possibilities in my mind, but couldn't come up with a solution. I must not stop thinking, there must be a way. Time passed second by second, and I had no time to hesitate. It's the money you want, right? Is there really no other way? Out of options, I gave it my all, just yelled at her. Not giving her a chance to contemplate, I continued after a quick pause. Let me go. You can have all the money as proof of my silence about this. Think about it. You really think you can get the money this easily? Are you okay with playing hide and seek for the rest of your life? If it... Couldn't finish my words. Seeing her expression, I realized that was it. What? Under the nightlight, she looked almost like a dream, too. Empty and transparent to be touched. That smile couldn't hide the helplessness and regret in her eyes. Silence and immense sadness.
There is no turning back.
Her voice was calm, surprisingly. There was no anger or accusation, only concession in that expression. She surrendered to her hopeless life. Nothing was more convincing than that expression. So even she could express such hopelessness. There's been no turning back since a long time ago. So she's been wanting for a long time. The phone vibrated again. Seeing her pick up the phone, I couldn't say anything. Dots. I should have known. The moment the phone rang, nay from the very beginning, she had no other choice but this. Dots. Under the serene moonlight, the cogwheel started to spin faster. Wow, that was kind of an amazing image in itself, though. That really did work well. We're still going? Excuse me? Dots. More dots. The girl opened the phone. The screen flashed the time. 3 a.m. There was only steady breathing in the room. The boy couldn't resist the desire to sleep after all. It's the money you want, right? Is there any other way? Remembering his words, the determination in his eyes surpassed her expectations. Perhaps he wasn't as useless as she had thought. So this is from her view! There was no regret in her decision, only a vague note of ironic sadness. Never until this moment had anyone cared what she wanted, trying to convince her not to break the law. No more one should take responsibility for one's life or don't keep asking someone to help you. There was no return. Either she would get the money and pay the debt or get arrested instead. The girl raised her head and looked into the starry sky, standing next to the window like a statue. The stars sparkled like her unsettled mind. Finally, she breathed out quietly.
Worst case scenario, I would just die with him.
The quiet voice of the girl evaporated in the room, along with the cigarette smoke. Wow. And that is it for this part. Wow. Oh, this is gonna be exciting. Whoa. Unfortunately, guys, I am all out of time. Wow. Yeah, this game is going to be very good. Alright, I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this game. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you want any more from me. And I shall see you in the next video. Sunshine, guys. I will indeed see you next time. Wowee. Cue the outro.